Alright guys, I want to talk to you today about the second Passover, Passover 2, or it's also called the Second Chance Passover. Now this is a real feast. It can be found in the book of Numbers, chapter 9. And where the Israelites came to Moses and they said, "Look, we are defiled by the blood of a dead man, or we are on a journey, and we've missed the Passover, and what shall we do?" And Moses went back to God, and God said to Moses, "Let them all keep the Passover." All right, and then on the 14th day of the second month, they shall keep the Passover, because the Passover is the 14th day, full moon, of the first month on the religious calendar. Typically March, April on the Roman calendar. So this is just like a second chance for the people that missed the first Passover. Now even in my church that I go to, the SDA church, which is the only church that is available to do a Saturday service, even them, some of them go after the Roman Easter. They're coming out with terms like Palm Sunday. They're celebrating Palm Sunday. I'm like, no. I mean, they keep the Sabbath day, but they don't know the feasts of God. They don't know the feast of God. They're celebrating Palm Sunday, which in the Bible it was on the 10th of Nissan. I'm not going to go into it, but even by the Easter calculations, Palm Sunday, Nissan 10th, can never be there. Jesus can never be crucified on a Friday. Even that doesn't even make it Nissan 14 either, because the sums don't work. And so yeah, some of them were going about Roman Easter rather than the true Passover. Now the true Passover happened on April 1st, the full moon. In fact, it was the exact same time like Jesus would have been crucified. He was crucified on a Wednesday. He died a few hours before Wednesday evening, before the sun went down, and he rose from the dead 3.5 days later, because he died just before sundown and he rose just before sundown, the scripture says, even on the first day of the week. And Jesus said himself that he would be dead for 3 days and 3 nights at least. So there's your 3.5 days. And as two witnesses also, when we're killed in Jerusalem, rise from the dead after 3.5 days, and then ascend up to heaven in a cloud, and the whole world will watch live stream. And then the second passing of the throne, Nibiru, locks on to the earth in the same hour. That'll be Tevet 14th of 2032. So Passover 2. Now I always keep Passover 2 as if it was Passover itself. So I might have the old lamb sort of Last Supper, if you like, the lamb dinner, the evening that Jesus was put to death or died. So the evening of that 14th day of Nissan, Abib, on the Hebrew calendar. And then eat no yeast products for 7 days, the feast of unleavened bread, which is not hard for me anyway, because I eat a lot of wraps anyway. So I mean, it's no thing to me. But eating the bread thing, yeah, that can be. But then you keep the feast of unleavened bread, and this is remembrance that when God came down in his throne, Neberdo, to pass over the earth and to salvation his people out of Egypt, which is a bit of a simile, really. This is a simile, really, because when he comes down in his throne to pass over for the first time, he's going to catch a great multitude out of the earth, all under the age of bar mitzvah, that are not accountable for sin, and anyone who repents of their sins will be caught up during the first passing, amazing as it might sound, or people may be led to believe, abducted. By some other thing, not God, like aliens, off the earth. And it's a real thing. It says they're caught out of there, they're saved, they come out of great tribulation, and there will be great tribulation before the throne hits the earth, before the rapture happens. Because all these things are going to build up, the earthquakes, the volcanoes, the wars, everything's going to build up. Before the throne of God hits. So yeah, it's a bit of a simile that the people of Israel came out when God passed over the earth on the Passover. Now, even from that, I don't believe God will pass over again on Passover for the first passing or the second passing. In fact, we know the second passing, when those two witnesses are put to death, it says the heathen makes merry and sends gifts one to another. Now that's Christmas, and of course the only full moon around that time is Christmas, Tevet 14th. So I was thinking recently, if the second passing of the throne really is known to happen on Tevet 14th, whatever year that be 2032, then what about the first passing? And then I come to possibility of understanding that maybe the first passing happens on the summer solstice, not the winter solstice. See, Tevet 14th, Christmas, winter solstice, then the opposite to that would be a summer solstice. And I guess we could move on to this extra point about, sorry, I've still got a bit of a flu. Even now, what is it, Tuesday? And yeah, so here's a next point about this second Passover, and this is a could be a really crucial point, and I'm not just clutching at straws here. I've looked into when does the new year begin of the religious calendar, trying to find an answer. In fact, the answer may be in when does the civil calendar begin. All right, but I'm trying to find out where does the religious calendar truly begin, and on top of that, what makes a leap year, because the leap year month is actually added to the religious calendar. So if the Passover is not going to be in spring, and the moon is drifted too far forward, let's say, and the sun is yet to catch up, and then Passover month being the first month of the religious calendar happens too early, then they've got to leap it, and then they add a month. All right, so the religious lunar calendar loses about 10 days every year to the solistic sun, the sun's orbit around the Earth. One rotation, right? So what happens is when the moon starts to drift back too far and the sun is yet to catch up, and this is like the beginning of New Year, if it's too early, they add a month for the moon to go round another once, which is a lunar month, one cycle of the moon, and then it brings it back into sync. So it's a leap year, all right? And like on paper, it should be every 3 years, but that's not what happens. And I don't want to go into it too far, but I've been trying to look into it. All right, the Jews have got their 19-year cycle, where even in that, there's increments of 2 years. There's like 2 year, 3 year, 2 year, 3 year, 3 year, 3 year, 2 year. Do you know what I mean? It's something along them lines. So it's not a perfect 3. And a 19-year cycle, I mean, who's keeping track? I mean, I want something that I can observe and say, okay, when the new moon is in Pisces, let's say, that's when you leap. Something along them lines. I mean, I've been looking into it. I've made some notes, but I've checked my notes of where the new moon constellation is and where the full moon constellation is during that time of the year ending and Passover and New Year beginning. And where I got it from on the site is not celestial accurate, if that makes sense. I've looked on Stellarium, and let's say, for example, the full moon was not in Libra, it was in Virgo. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know what site I got it from. Maybe I got it from an astrology site, which is all bullshit. I mean, astrology is just a ton of lies. I mean, if you go to star signs and stuff, like my mum is born on August the 3rd. She thinks she's a Leo when she's not. I mean, when you actually look into it, the sun doesn't actually enter Leo until my birthday, August the 11th. All right, so anyone before that thinking they're a Leo is, by this astrology theology, it's just been lied to. And so I'll need to go through again and accurately do it with Stellarium, and okay, that's the full moon, what constellation it in? Virgo, not Libra. I'm gonna have to go through it all again and redo it, but I'm getting to notice these cycles and signs. So I asked the question is 2026 a leap year? I mean, I put it to one of the rabbis who does the calendar for the Jewish website, and he came back with, no, this is not a leap year. Well, the thing is, next year is a leap year. So I'm like, well, what is really the difference? And it has been 2 years since the last leap year, which was 2024. All right, so I'm asking the question, are we in a leap year? And people may say, well, that doesn't matter. But here's reasons why it does matter. There's 2 reasons. I mean, I suppose they are good and bad reasons, positive and negative to everything, I suppose. And that's it. Remember me saying about the inheritance event being on the 7th month of the year, but coming to the realization that Enoch was working off his civil calendar, not a religious calendar. All right, a religious calendar starts in spring, a civil calendar starts in autumn. Now, if Enoch 60, which seen that inheritance event and seen 10,000 times 10,000 and thousands and thousands of angels surrounding the throne, disquieted with a great disquiet, which is the same celebration that happens in Revelation 5, which is the inheritance we're looking for. Well, if Enoch was going by a civil calendar, then that makes Nissan, or the first month of the religious calendar, the actual 7th month of a civil calendar. That's why my eyes were watching on this Passover coming up. There's just been, for the inheritance event to happen. Comet maps was coming down to pass through the sun on the Sabbath day within the Feast of Passover. And now I'm asking the question is that, well, here's the thing to have in the back of my mind. If we are on a leap year, then this is now the new year. I'm making this video, the new moon, this is now the beginning of the year. And if this is a leap year, then that means the true Passover feast will be on May 1st, full moon. So it's like April 1st with the full moon feast, Passover. Well, if it's a leap year, then Passover 2 is actually Passover 1, which makes May 1st. And people may say, well, Passover in May, that's a bit extreme, but the civil way of calculating it, and from the Jewish calendar that's online, I mean, I remember Passovers where the Passover was like the last week of April. So what's the difference between the last week of April and the first week of May? You know, it might have even been 2024. I'm not very quick with maps, but if the 22nd of April on that year where the year started in April 8th, the 22nd of April would have been the Passover, you know, through to the 29th of April. So Passover can be late. So what's the difference between the last week of April and the first week of May? Do you know what I mean? So I'm having in the back of my mind, like, this could be a leap year. And if so, the second Passover is actually the first Passover. Because there's also another theology way of looking at it, which is quite a common sense way of looking at it, because the Jews say Passover has to be in spring. Okay, and this is another way of looking at it. And when you think about the sun and the moon, and the new moon catching the sun up to complete a year, so to speak, this is an ideal way of looking at it. And that's if the new moon of Nissan 1 is to be before the equinox of the sun, then it's a leap year. So by that standard, by that law, by that rule, then the new moon of Nissan 1 to start the year has to happen after the equinox. I mean, that would totally keep Passover within spring. I mean, spring runs from March 20th or 21st to June 21st. So that would keep Passover within that month. So it's totally workable to have that method. I mean, so yeah. So I'm just having in the back of my mind that this could be, and if Passover 1 is Passover, if Passover 2 is Passover 1, meaning the 1st of May is the true Passover, well then just keep that watch again, alright, for Enoch 60, 7th month on a civil calendar will be the first month on a religious calendar. The 14th day of that month would be Passover feast, the full moon. Just keep a watch out then for the inheritance event to happen during that Passover. So in short, like, just keep watch for the inheritance event to happen for that Passover. And another thing we got on top of this, which I don't suppose you can ignore, is a comet coming down. Now, I've spoken in the past about comets or entities being involved in all this, because the first part of the inheritance event, an angel, a strong angel, cries out, "Who is worthy to take the book and to loose the seals thereof?" And no man in heaven or on earth or under the earth was found worthy to open the book with 7 seals. Why? Because Jesus has been in his manger since the birth sign was complete in 2017. It's now been 8 years of completion. Since that time, so we are in the time. In fact, I don't even, people may say, well, you're looking for the inheritance event around Passover and such, but all these things are going to happen. The inheritance event, the seals, even if the seals are in the world war, because two signs pointing to world war. Are going to happen. So whether World War III of June 28th through to August 8th window, specifically being the 15th of July, if that world war is going to be the SEAL 2 war outbreak, so be it. Or if it's going to be Trumpet 6 world war outbreak, 200 million men all armed with tanks and truck-mounted nuclear weapons, then so be it. But if it's Trumpet 6, then 5 trumpets and 7 seals have to come before that time. So we are in the season of months for this to happen. So, it doesn't matter. But anyway, going back to the comet thing, you have an entity in the heavens crying out, "Who is worthy?" Now, we looked at Three-Eye Atlas. Three-Eye Atlas was coming close to the earth, and then it was lining up with the earth and such, and then it went through. And then we had comet maps coming down through the sun towards the earth on the Passover feast, or maybe whatever it was, or maybe it was Purim feast, if it was a leap year, coming past the sun on the Sabbath day as well, and then going off. And now, I guess you could say, the third time of me questioning the comet, saying, is this the angel entity of the inheritance event? Because there's an entity coming down, comet R3, and it's coming down this Sabbath day, all right? So it's before Passover, second Passover, but it's coming down, it's going to pass between the earth and the sun. It's going to come halfway between the sun and the earth. I mean, its body itself. And it's going to pass like this. I mean, even suspicious observers getting really excited about this one. He's measuring off the tail, and the tail itself is nearly touching the earth. But he's making calculations of how long particles from the comet would take to get from where Comet is to where the earth is, and he's calculating the solar winds and stuff. And I guess it is just a guesstimate, but he's saying 3 to 6 days even for whatever's in the comet to come down and towards the earth and such. But there's the thing, is that it'll line up this Passover. It will line up on the 24th with the sun and the earth like this, and it'll pass in front of us. And then, like I say, you've got the Passover feast happening the week after. So this is still a watch time. It's is that entity the entity of the inheritance event? Is the angel going to cry out, "Who is worthy to complete the inheritance event?" And no man in heaven, on earth, or under the earth was found worthy. Is it going to be slightly longer for the inheritance event to be complete? Meaning the woman on the earth, Israel, says, "Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord." The woman in the heavens bring forward the man-child to God's throne. And when Jesus Christ gets to the throne to take the inheritance in the form of 7 seals, only then can the celebration in heaven happen, which is the 10,000 times 10,000 of angels. And then all the animals which are in the heavens, on earth, under the earth, and such like that are in the sea, are all going to start singing also, blessing and honour and glory and power be unto him who sits upon the throne. So this is a high watch period. 1, this comet is coming down. Could well be the entity, the angel that begins the inheritance event. 2, Passover 2 may be, if we're on a leap year, Passover 2 is actually Passover 1. Going back to the Enoch 60 thing. And if the 10,000 times 10,000 of angels which are disquieted at the great disquiet on the 7th month of the civil calendar of Enoch, being on the 14th day is a full moon, if they're disquieted on that full moon, which would be Passover 2 and or aka Passover 1 if we're in a leap year, well, that would be the time for the inheritance event to happen and or be complete. So what I'm saying is, like, from this comet coming down actually this weekend, Comet R3 passing in front of the sun, and a lot of people are excited about that one, and it's big and bold. It's very ancient, as they're saying. It's it's definitely one to watch for. There's already great pictures of it so far, but I'm more interested in events on the earth. Every time a comet passes, and even other people say it, they're not religious, they're like omens and such, that are things happening on the earth. So keep watch about things happening on the earth as Comet R3 comes past the earth. Then even after that, keep watch upon the earth, especially Israel, which is quite a thing to say now because everything's gone quiet in the Middle East from what I'm seeing. But keep watch, and then through to Passover 2, keep that Passover from the 14th day of the month, all right, which will be May 1st, which will be a Friday. Keep watch even around that time. We'll make it like May 1st, 2nd, and that will make that one a very special, a very watchful, high watch time as well on that weekend of Passover 2, aka Passover 1 if we're on a leap year. And maybe I'll try and sort this, trying to find out the exact answer on when a leap year or when the new year really begins, so that we know when a leap year begins as well. So yeah, just keep watch. Like I said, around that time that Comet comes through this weekend and next weekend when the Passover feast begins. And if you miss Passover 1, you know, like my church SDA did, some other people may be on a trip somewhere, or you know, then if you miss the Passover, then keep it. So on that Friday, the May, you can keep the excuse me, you can keep the Last Supper, you can keep the communion of breaking the bread and drinking the wine in remembrance of Jesus Christ. I mean, at least do it at the right time where he would have been the Passover lamb who was crucified for our sins. At least keep it at the right time. Like I said, what's known to be Passover 1, the first Passover was on April 1st, but now the second Passover is on May 1st. But like I said, throwing into this and having in the back of your mind that if we are on a leap year, then Passover 1 of May 1st will actually be Passover 1. And keep watch for that inheritance event. And like I say, you've got this entity coming down first to pass between us. 1 week later we got Passover, so it's just a high watch time period soon. And people may say, what happens after that? Well, World War III is booked in for July, so what else is, these things are going to come to pass. So keep watch. Cleanse yourselves as well, like spiritually cleanse yourselves, around this time. And please, please, please keep the Passover, second Passover feast. So I've been Pastor Prophet Justin Roberts from End of the Age Bible Prophecy. God bless you all. In Jesus' precious name, amen.